It's just bollocks. Everyone needs a hug.
There's a line in the song. I picked a few songs and I wrote lines from it because I think they tell a story. I found this line fascinating. I even loved my father, and that says a lot. Why? How come? Was he an evil person or wrongdoing or?
No, he wasn't an evil person. I had a very troubled relationship with my father from the day one. It was a war.
How come?
How come? Well, I came from a very working class background. It was, I'm 51 years of age. Ireland in the 60s, 70s and the 80s was a very repressed and poor country. And I was a very full-on child. The thing that I learned was you don't really get a perspective of a parent, true perspective of a parent till they go. What they really, really were to you or are to you, especially if you have a difficult relationship. And I was everything my father wanted. He was very conservative. He came from a country that was poor, almost third world. He was born before World War II. He had no father himself. He was completely conservative in his beliefs. And he had this little antichrist of a son that went, no, no, no. And then when I was 12 or 13, I was cutting my hair, wearing earrings, 16, formed a band. It was a constant war. I was fucked out of the house. He didn't really talk to me for most of my life. And it was a constant, my father, even when the fact of when I worked on very successful movies, and we were given nominations for big awards and premieres, he wouldn't come. He never ever talked about my stuff, ever, to me, ever.
Have you had the time to say this to him?
Yeah.
And what did he say?
When he was dying.
Yeah.
He had a massive heart attack. And it was like, I was a 45-year-old man, and for 40 years of that life, I have one or two fond memories as a little boy. I remember him letting me stay up late to see Man Walk on the Moon in 1969. And I have a very fond memory of sitting on his knee. I think it was 1 in the morning or whatever time they walked on the moon in Dublin. I could be wrong, but I remember that. And that's all. And he had a heart attack around 5 years ago or so. And every bone in my body just wanted to be with him. I didn't, all the aggression, I just was so upset and wanted to be with him, and him the same with me. I have 3 other siblings, 3 brothers, and he didn't want to see anyone else but me. Now, he had a good relationship with the other 3. I'm the eldest. And I sat with him on a trolley because there was no fucking beds in the stupid country I lived in. Even at the time, the boom was still on. He sat in the trolley for 36 hours and I didn't leave him. And we spoke for those 36 hours. He had his bypass and 3 weeks later he died. It didn't work. But I had the privilege of making reconciliation with him, for us saying to each other, we're sorry.
What was he most sorry for?
He said, I'm sorry I never understood you. And I'm sorry.
But did he understand you in the end? Did he understand you in the end?
I don't think so. I think he reluctantly admired me, but didn't know how to say it. You know? My mum idolized me and had a great relationship with my mum. My mum said that he adored me. I was just so proud of me. But I didn't fucking know. I didn't know until he was gone. But I realized then, when that sort of dark bully is gone, you see so much. And I saw how hard I was on him, because I was a very fiery, strong-willed, stubborn young man. Like, it was like having Rasputin and the Antichrist sitting at the table when I'd walk in, you know. And I wouldn't have been who I was because of him. He sent me when all my other brothers were sent to Ballymun Comprehensive School, where it was like open education. I was sent separate to my brothers, to the Christian brothers. And that even made me more and more of the rebel that I was in the Virgin Prune days. But it was the time. He didn't know any better. That's how they were brought up. And it was a time, and he lived in a small country, and we were the first generation that really kicked against the establishment of conservatism in the Catholic Church. We kicked against it. We're the first generation, really. And that song came out of there. And it was also, the song is called Blame, but the last line on the song is, no one is to blame. We all fuck up, we're all only human, and the worst thing in the world is to hold guilt and blame, because it just becomes ugly.
When he died, you were saying, well, he was also, your relationship also formed you, and when the dark force falls away, how did you find your balance again?
It probably made me grow up. I don't know. It's hard. That's a hard question for me to totally answer. I felt a weight off my shoulders because I was probably still fighting with him, even though, like, you know, in his older age, I'd see him at my brother's wedding or something, and oh, there you are, you're still looking for attention. Look at the way you're dressed. You know, it wasn't as aggressive as it was when I was a teenager or that, but it was always a dig. But I just felt this weight, and yeah, I loved him, but he wasn't able to show love. He didn't have that thing in him. Like real, you know, that real fucking stupid cliche of real men. Yeah. It's just bollocks. Everyone needs a hug and sensitive, especially from the parents.
What is the thing he was most proud of in the end? Because your mom said, well, he was really proud of you. Did he?
She said he's proud of everything I did.